Goodness gracious, we made it.
That was
It was a funky start, and I got there right at the finish line. Was able to share and everything, but Maniacs, it is 113 episodes of these beautiful faces that we've made it into 2021, into a new month. You have discovered Salt.Tier Podcast, Soundcasting Network's very own video game podcast, where your argument is
invalid.
I like that, invalid. We are brought to you. God, I got to get better at this. By Voodoo Ranger Ipa. It is New Belgium's very own IPA line. Oh, nice. Which one is that?
This is one I never had before. I actually got this as a gift the other day. This is experimental IPA.
Oh, Jesus.
Ooh, new can.
Yeah, that's dope. It looks menacing.
It is. Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, very much like Venom or something.
Yeah, it's like, I dare you to drink me.
Maybe it's one of their small batches that did not make it to the big batch.
It's very likely. And Maniacs, if you're looking for an IPA company to support, they are B Corp certified and employee owned. # live rangerously. Also very involved with gaming. I saw they were sponsoring a live stream, or not a live stream, but like someone streaming games the other week, and I was like, okay, it's good to see that beautiful logo pop up. As much as I love them right here, I like to see that they're part of like gaming as a whole. Nah, I mean.
I've definitely seen them around as well. It's good to see them.
And to knock out the intros, we are not coming to you from Studio 212, but we are still part of the Soundcasting Network. Although I miss the podcast studio a little bit, dodging all the goose poop on my walk over there. So much goose poop.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. This is over here by Lake Union. So for those, if you want to take a look at Google Maps, if you're not familiar with the area, there's a lot of geese usually. I bet you there's a ton of geese over there now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's geese season finally.
And to people that are not aware of the Seattle area, South Lake Union has a transit system, and they used to have T-shirts for the South Lake Union Transit.
Slut.
Yep, literally said, "Ride the slut."
They're no longer with us, but I'm sure you could fish one of those out. Oh man, maybe we could do a collab. Like a hot, like Supreme collab, Salt.Tier and slut clothing. Maybe not. Salt.Tier slut? Oh, apparently the Torrance wants Cybo-Man. Jesus, the legend predates us.
It's grown bigger than us.
It's grown much bigger. It's bigger than the world. But I am Loud and Brown at Loud and Brown on Twitter and Instagram. I am Gross Def with a PH on PlayStation and Steam. I have not been on Steam this week. I'm sorry. I didn't play any of those fun little games.
You know what I noticed? You're not even friends with Crispy Pant on Steam.
Oh shoot. Yeah, I guess we've only played together on PlayStation.
Yep. Yeah,
that's weird.
I was noticing that. I looked on his friends list, and it said I looked on his friends list, and it said we had one friend in common. So I assumed it was you, but it wasn't. It was Sage Bell or somebody.
Goodness. So slow gaming week for me. I'm gonna kick it down to the longest hair in the podcast.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. I was like, if you were like your full summer hair, it would be debatable. Get a hair straightener. You can find me at SageBell on Twitch, Twitter, SageBell_model on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. I played some Dead by Daylight. No shocker. I played a little bit of VALHEIM, but I didn't play enough to do more than punch a few deers. And then I definitely got past the hard part I had last week on Resident Evil 0.
Oh.
Because I don't think any of you stuck around for the stream afterwards, but I've been stuck in this one spot because there's no health the way you have to save in that game is little ink files, and I didn't have any ink files to save after I did one thing.
That is some classic Resident Evil right there.
Oh, I had to restart that at least 30 times.
30?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. It was bad.
Lord.
Yeah, bro. You never played the old Resident Evils? There's a lot of trial and error in that game.
Weird.
Especially with, like you said, like the ink ribbon thing. Yeah. In the first 2 games, it was like that.
No, it was rough, but that's a painful. Chang, we'll get it. We're getting to that, Chang. Thanks for climbing in on that. But that's all. Okay, continue.
It's the main problem was I had to do a thing past this one monster that I can't kill because I don't have enough health to take on the monster. So I had to like keep trying to just run past it, do the thing, run past it again.
I had a non-prog during the last hour of Resident Evil 3, and I never beat it because I had 0 life and Nemesis was outside the save point, and I didn't save the save point before that, so rip.
Yeah, that was a wrap, huh?
Are we going over to Skylar?
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Okay.
This is All Might Skylar. You can find me on Instagram at Skylar's Back at It. You can also find me on Steam at All Might Space Skylar. A little bit of everything. But I've been I hit Gold 2 in Legends of Runeterra, trying to hit Plat before March 3rd before it resets. Thank you. I'm happy with my Gold 2 rank. And because they're about to release a bunch of new cards, and a couple of them look absolutely broken. So I'm trying to grind out and get some gems and stuff ready for when all the new champs come out, so I can at least get a solid deck or 2 in the new meta. And then it's gonna be sweet. I can't wait for it. But other than that, I actually been snowboarding a lot, doing things, traveling.
You pulling the SSS tricky?
Yeah. I've been doing a whole bunch of things.
1080s, baby.
1080s.
Both of which are excellent snowboarding games, by the way. Those are probably like the 2 best right there.
Also, actually, by the way, as well, I think I have one side mission glitched, and the other one I think I might have one other one left for all the side missions of Cyberpunk.
Oh.
Cyberpunk.
So all I have left is the main storyline, like right before the last. Can't go any further.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm glad you brought that up. There was a Cyberpunk related topic that we didn't even mention this week.
There's a lot of Cyberpunk topics.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, haven't we buried that game into the ground?
It gets worse. It's still going.
They just got hacked.
Yeah, they got hacked. Somebody paid for it. I think they bought it themselves, bought their code back. But because of all that happening, their developers have to sit around for a couple months. They can't even work because they don't even know what's hacked and what's out there and what's not. So all the big performance patches, all the big updates, those all got pushed back.
Yeah, they can't do anything until they solve the problem. It's pretty shitty.
Yep. Yeah. Speaking of shitty, their stock. Yeah.
But anyways,
what's up?
May you introduce yourself, good sir?
Hello, I am the Saverings. ... Nice to meet all of the new people out there. Who are we kidding? It's probably our regulars in there. Where's Stoddy? Where's all those people? There he is.
No, we got Chang. We got my mom on Facebook. That's kind of weird.
Your mom?
My mom's watching, so no cussing.
Mrs. Loudon-Brown is listening.
Yeah,
you raised a very fine boy. He's very well mannered. He gets along with everyone. You raised a very fine child.
Never drinks.
Never.
Fun fact: I have burned a wedding dress with his mother.
What?
Out of context, it's weird, right?
Out of context. Move on. Introduce yourself. What'd you play this week?
This week I played quite a bit. I messed around in some VR and played a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Honestly, I have to go back and look. I have been playing a lot of games this week. Off the top of my head, I know I played a little bit of Stellaris. It's still broken, but I've been playing on the test server just to have some fun with it. Trying to prep and test out some strategies before the next expansion comes out, because in the next expansion, you could be the in-game crisis. So as I sit here and think, and you hear me ramble on about capitalism all the time and how these companies are ruining gaming over profit, in Stellaris, I like to play as a space capitalist and just take over stuff. So in the next expansion, you could be the in-game crisis. You could be the big bad that the whole galaxy has to fight against, or you could be the one that protects the galaxy. So I kind of want to do that as a megacorp. Like, what is that like when you're just like selling stuff, but you're the in-game crisis? That's a thing. And yes, it's in the game. So I've been playing it, just testing out some other strategies so I can actually jump in and try it with the new stuff. I have Accounting Plus. I had a family member over the other day and he tried VR for the first time and he was playing that. If you haven't played that, that's a VR game, and I've talked about it here on the show. VR game made by Justin Roiland of Rick and Morty, and the people who made the Stanley Parable, which you've also heard me talk about on this podcast. Two very weird things put together in VR. It's a pretty enjoyable game. But other than that, I mean, just mess around in Steam VR, trying to get Dota 2 to work in Steam VR, trying to get what else did I play? I have not touched Flight Simulator or Squadrons yet. But pretty much just kind of goofing around. Mostly Stellaris, though. Just I got to be real. I haven't played that much.
Stellaris,
yeah,
heard.
Yeah.
Understood.
So that's it for me as
Good
far
to
as what
hear.
I've been playing.
And Maniacs, thank you for joining us on all of these different platforms. I know you might be on Facebook or YouTube or listening to the audio, but we're on so many things. Make sure to find us. It's Salt_Tier Pod on Instagram and Twitter for little bits. It's just Salt.Tier Podcast on Facebook, on our Steam group, on Twitch, and on YouTube. Just Salt.Tier Podcast. It's hard to enunciate, but Salt.Tier Podcast. Like, follow, subscribe, tell your friends, and then you'll get access to free games. Otherwise, Matt Stotts is just going to take all of them.
Yep.
He's a smart man.
He gets more than I do.
He does.
And he was
But
there too.
Moving on, we got to get to the topics because we dropped a lot of topics for news today. And I'm kicking it off to the Savorings, ... And we're going to begin to talk about game stonks. Thank you, London with a Y.
Yes. So we were talking about stonks a little bit earlier, going into CD Projekt Red. Pick that stonk up right now. They have two. They have one for the actual developer and they have one for the publisher. And they're both half off right now for your convenience. They're both 50% off where they were before. So if you're looking to get into some stonks, it can only go up. This particular stonk, the stonk of all stonks right now would be GameStop. GameStop's CFO, their chief financial officer, the person who would probably be the most in tune with all this going on, the person who probably have to deal with it the most. As of February 23rd, he resigned. And he's only been CFO since June of 2019. So it hasn't even been 2 years yet. This is just more flags on the sinking ship that is GameStop. But if you're looking to invest in some stocks, it is going back up. It's up 104% from where it was like not even a week ago. So it is going to surge back up. You are going to start seeing it in the news again. So pay attention to that. So all this crazy stuff with GameStop, they can't keep whatever's going on over there. They have a revolving door of CEOs. Their CEO quit. He's only been there for less than 2 years. Their CEO just quit, and he was there for like 6 months. Reggie's over there. Reggie, my body is ready. Fiami is over there from Nintendo. It's just a crazy time, and you got stonks. What do you guys think of any of this? Does this surprise you? Does this yeah, what's going on?
Wow. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I find it entertaining because it was, it dropped a little and then it went back up and everyone was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!"
Yeah. And the way this works is it has to adjust itself. The companies that owe the money back on the stock that they shorted on GameStop, they can just pay fines and fines and fines for a while, but eventually they have to pay something back. So it going down was just them paying fines over time, but now they're starting to owe the money back again, so it's going back up. Because they have to buy this stock back at value, which makes the price go up even more. So it's kind of screwing them in a cycle. So you're going to see this. It's going to go up and down, but every time it goes down, it's going to be less down. And every time it goes up, it's going to be more up.
Yeah. To put it into reference, we have our homies Sam Park and Cheng Yu talking about the stocks at its peak here at the New York Stock Exchange. We have $347 on January 27th, which is bananas because on January 14th it was $40.
Well, hold on. Go back to December. It was $9.
Yeah, it gets less and less, right? Mm-hmm. And then it dipped pretty low back to $40, and now is back up to 120 as of reporting today. Thank you, London with a Y, for your stock numbers.
I bought some.
She's working hard, man. Yeah. She's working hard today.
And full disclaimer, I do own stock. I like the stock. I do own it. I did buy a couple more shares today when it hit about 101 because I knew it was going to spike and it got up to about 120. So yeah, so tomorrow to the moon. Like let's take this to the moon. I see you in the chat there, Chen. Hold in the chat there, Chen, with the diamond hands forever. Hold.
All right.
So
So
that's where we're
stocks
going.
is
Mhm.
what we're saying. Stocks. Pay attention
Stocks.
to it. We'll give you the update. Maybe we can talk London into doing some wardrobe. We could get some, Wall Street costumes, the two-tone collar, and Russ could have like a whole different segment with the suspenders. Today, buy.
I got my stonk shirt already. I'm not wearing it, but I do have a stonk shirt, so I could
Heard.
definitely rock it for that.
Maybe
you wore it
next week.
last week.
Yeah, I did. I debuted the stonk shirt last week. I can
Woo!
always pull it back out again for that. So
Oh,
that's what's
goodness.
going on in stonks. Pay attention to that, folks. It's big.
Pay a damn attention, and we are moving on. Yeah, long live crypto, magic word.
Mhm.
Moving on. Oh, yep. GameStop
There's-
more than doubles in late day trading. Woof.
Mhm. And this is after them freezing everybody who's on the outside buying the stock. And then all the hedge funds get to trade after hours. So that's even them trying to cheat and hedge and do things anyway. And it's still going to blow up in their face. So
Yeah.
Or they'll make a bunch of money.
Word. Well, moving on. We got another topic, and this one is by a face we don't get to see every week, but when we do, we love to see it.
Oh, thank you.
Our very own Viking, our 6 foot and 7 inch.
So there is a game that which everybody is whispering about. VALHEIM.
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 Viking.
It is basically a Viking survival where you have like amnesia per se, but when you do things, you like remember what it is. And so you chop a bunch of wood, you build houses, you build weapons, you hunt. Every time you do stuff, you upgrade. You're basically like you level up, you're fighting or you're axing or you're running or jumping, and you just keep leveling up. And then there's stuff on the island for you to hunt. And when you've hunted everything, you ascend to Valhalla. And I just started a server, got my my lady friend and me. We're building a house.
you're nesting in game.
We're nesting in
Ooh.
game.
That's cute.
We got a house. I was like, hey, you should get this game and help me punch trees. help me punch some trees for a while. But yeah, there's
Hold up, wait. Like stuff floats in the air like Minecraft. Like if you take out the bottom.
oh yeah, it's basically Minecraft but
For
with
Viking.
Vikings. But the landscape is actually really beautiful though. The weather changes all the time. You get beautiful sunsets. There's like this big Mother Earth tree that kind of like goes over the entire sky. Yeah, you can do some really creative stuff with the building as well.
It's similar to Ark in the way that like if you get wet, it notifies you that you're wet and that you need to like go dry off.
Yep, that you have to dry off and you need to, like go back and dry, or at least that which your stamina is going to be less. There's little things that come and try to kill you. I actually had a skeleton with a sword run at me, and it like hit me, and it got me down to 4 health. And I was just like running back to the house, and I was yelling. I was yelling at my lady. I was like, "Go kill it! Kill it!"
Wow. And so this is from Iron Gate Studio, and it looks like this is the only thing they have to offer on their website. This is their project.
Yeah, this is their first game.
I think I have like 10 friends on my Steam page who are currently playing this right now.
Yeah,
and you can jump into their servers. And
It looks great.
Yeah,
I'm looking right now. It's the number 3 most played game on Steam.
Wow.
Currently.
Yeah, this is literally what everybody's playing right now. It's what everyone's talking about.
Check this out. It goes Counter-Strike, Dota 2, Valheim, and then PUBG. There's more people playing this than PUBG right now.
Whoa.
And Apex Legends.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope for any
This
of the
game
film
is hot
buffs.
fire. Hot
For
fire
any of the
right
film
now.
buffs that are listening or watching right now, I'm going to be hopeful that this has no relation to Valhalla Rising, the Nicholas William Refn movie, because that would be a dark game.
But I would highly recommend it. It's only $20, and
Hey.
it's still technically in beta, but game's a lot of fun. I haven't had too many problems with it so far.
Looks good for beta.
Yeah. super fun. I would highly recommend it.
Dude, I'm looking. There's 17 million concurrent Steam players right now. That's insane.
Yeah. We'll
It
get
peaked-
to that when we talk about
If
the state
I wasn't
of play,
doing
Russ.
this
We'll get to
podcast
that.
right now, I'd be playing Valheim. My cousin was yelling at me because he was like, why aren't you playing Valheim? And I was like, I bought it. And he's like, yeah, but why aren't you playing it?
Yeah, in trouble, huh?
Yeah.
I got trouble. I was like,
Well,
so I started grinding it. It's good stuff.
Maniacs, you heard it here first. I know none of the other podcasts are talking about this because we're the only one that matters. But Salt.Tier Podcast from All Might Scholar says Valheim is that new coolness, right?
That I
Like
do.
very much like the next game we're talking about.
Very much like the next game. We're talking about Valorant. Oh, we got the audio. Oh, we had the audio. You know, London tried, and
It's
that's what
copyrighted.
matters.
It's
London
copyrighted,
tried,
probably.
and that's what matters. Y'all, we got a new character announced for. Oh, I'm sorry, Sage Bell. What are the new characters referred to as in Valorant?
Spies.
Agents.
Agent, right?
Really?
Thank you. Yeah, they're called agents.
Same thing.
Yeah.
This is
So a
spyware
new agent
confirmed.
was announced, and it's pretty cool. Her name is Astra. Their name is Astra.
Cool.
Looks like a her. Whatever. It's Astra, and kind of cool little like mist. I mean, there's a lot. The powers are so ambiguous to me with Valorant, but I like these trailer.
Time out, Len, bro. Time
Yeah.
out. Remember last week when I was laughing because they introduced the new character on Overwatch and her name was Sojourn?
Oh
And,
yeah,
and now they have like the cookie cutter almost same.
Agents.
Oh my god.
yeah.
Okay,
so,
just thought I'd throw that out.
No,
there.
no, and Saverings,
I
just
see
to
you,
bring you up to
Valorant.
date. No, to bring you up to date, Sojourn was announced at BlizzCon 2019. So if that makes
Preview,
your mindset any different,
No, I just think it's funny the two competing team shooters.
oh,
both
I
introduced a
mean,
black
if
tick
we're
at the
gonna
same
talk
time.
about similarities with characters between Overwatch and Valorant, we have way more to talk about than
But,
just.
but you could have
Sojourn and
introduced any
Astra.
character like what? But they just introduced them back to back, basically, right?
No.
No, there was like a hero or two in between. They were like, I mean, Valorant basically launched in between that last BlizzCon and now.
Okay.
So, but I
Valorant's dropped 3 new characters since.
Okay.
Yeah, but Russ, I do see what you mean. Saverings, ...
Yeah.
Yes, the similarities are funny, but that is the tip of the iceberg. I think it is very easy to find a YouTube video that'll be like, "Hey, here are Valorant characters. Here are Overwatch characters. Here are Apex heroes," and there's a lot of bleed over that I believe happens a lot more than in fighting games, because fighting games really try to hit their own genre. You know, Street Fighter's like a street fight. Mortal Kombat's pretty mystical and, you know, ancient lore. And then you got the anime fighters and the sci-fi fighters. Like, the bleed over kind of exists, but not to this point, because a lot of these shooters right now are sci-fi abilities based, like
Team shooters with the different personalities and stuff with the hero characters. Yeah.
One just funny fact about the previous Valorant character that was announced, another
Yeah.
female character who's a redhead with a bird. And she was compared to Cassie from Paladins, which is a free-to-play game from another studio.
It's also a League of Legends character. Like who's that pirate chick with the muskets and the red hair?
Misfortune.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
But she has a bird.
There's a lot, but you know what? And then there's Guile, right? And, you know, people could rag on Capcom all you want, but I feel like studios are even scared to cop on them because they've been around for so long. They're like, you can't make flat top military guy. It's like, why not? It's like, that's one dude. Like, everybody knows who the flat top military guy is.
I mean, true.
And
I mean,
Saverings ... and I were there in 91, 92 with all the copycats, and they
We were
got
there.
laughed out of the arcade. Did any of those last more than a year?
like which ones are you talking about? Because there was quite a few.
Yeah, let's see. There was well, World Heroes actually had their own IPs.
Oh my
But I'm talking about what was the guy that looked exactly like Guile, but he was like, his name was like Jack Rose, and he threw like roses at you, and he was a charge type, and everybody was like, this is embarrassing.
From what game?
We did that on a past episode. We can't get into a tangent right now. But those existed. But in recent years, what I'm saying is MOBA shooters are new. So everybody's kind of borrowing and everybody's kind of inspired by each other. But when
But
it
are
comes
they,
to
though?
fighters, They
But
are.
they though? No,
What I'm doing is comparing that to Street Fighter 2, where I don't think
I don't know.
almost anybody in the Guilty Gear Strive cast looks
Unreal
like.
Unreal Tournament and Team Fortress 2 might have something to say about it.
No, I mean, yeah, Unreal is it's pretty
Tribes.
old, and Team Fortress 2 is super old too. But
Tribes. Yeah.
yeah, they're all newer than Street Fighter 2. Is what I'm
Barely.
saying.
Barely.
89, dude.
Street Fighter 2 wasn't 89. That was 91. If we're talking like recent things, like I think Unreal Tournament and Tribes was like late 90s. So like maybe like what 6 years, 7 years it has on them. That's not a whole lot of time when you're talking 30 years. If you want to go back that far.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
So yeah. Team shooters have been around for a while.
They've been around for a while. I'm not saying they're the new kid on the block. I'm saying they're newer than fighters. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, most definitely, yeah.
Oh,
By
Valorant's
a good 20 years probably.
Go ahead, Skylar.
I was just saying Valorant's still pretty hot. Sorry.
Hey, are we skipping into the Elden Ring? Is that Bobby Steele saying talk about the Souls? You want to see the Dark Souls, Bobby Steele? I didn't know you were a Dark Souls fan. I know you like getting good.
Yeah.
But basically, this is our first potential footage. This is potentially footage from Elden Ring. I've spoke about it here on the show before. Basically, this is from Software, the creators of your Dark Souls. This has already been announced. The creators of Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro. Those are their main games, their main claim to fame. They've done other stuff. Before that, they used to do mech games and stuff way back on the PlayStation 1 and 2 and stuff. Basically, some footage leaked. This looks very Dark Soulsy. I see a lot of the same spells. I see a lot of the same fighting type. I see a lot of the same classes. Dude's carrying a torch. This is definitely some Dark Souls stuff going on right here.
Yeah.
Even the character models even move like Dark Souls. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's got that weight to it, which I love. I love that weight to the combat, that heft to it, where you got to like kind of plot and think about your moves before you do them.
And you and Sagebell went to school for stuff like this. Would you say this is a similar game engine?
Yes, this is from Software. They always kind of do their engines on a derivative thing. I don't know if they use the same engines repeatedly in their games, but their engines are always built the same way, just with newer things. And they always have very specific design goals in mind, what they want it to work on, how it's going to run, and then that's what their engine focuses on. But basically, yeah, this is potentially the leak trailer, bits and pieces of it. All we can confirm is at least part of this is the real trailer. They're not sure where or when it leaked or what kind of build this is. The rumor is it's from a build from about a year ago to show to their investors. As you can see, BNEE, that's Bandai Namco Europe, and the other stuff that you see is their holding company. You can see like BNE Hala, which is the holding company for that. So this is to show their board members to get funding. This is to show shareholders, preferably, to want to invest in the company and stuff like that. Right there is
the watermark.
Yeah, right there is the Marauder. Right there is the Heretic. These are classes. That's a sorcerer. These are classes from Dark Souls. So pretty much this is looking like it's going to be a prequel to everything, because I can still see some civilization and stuff going on. Pretty much in all the Dark Souls games you play, pretty much everything's done, and you're kind of sifting through the wreckage of everything. So real or not, it's good to see some kind of news. It's going to force them to try to maybe reveal something, because it has been revealed that the development for this has been really stymied by the whole COVID thing.
Got it.
So you have things like that. So hopefully this is real. Either way, I'm going to buy this game and play this game when it comes out. I don't care.
And like the other games, I think everybody here will agree, and everybody listening right now in the chat, it'll probably be super easy and pick up and play and not hurt the souls of the players that use these games at all. Right?
That's for anything else. You don't buy a Souls game for the easy Souls. Yeah.
They're so hard. That's so funny that you bring that up. I watched Maximilian Dude try to do playthroughs on some of the hardest boss levels, and he's just screaming at his TV.
It happens.
It's a rough game. It's not apologetic at all.
No, but it's not also impossible, and it's not unfair either. Like once you kind of figure out what's going on in a fight, like at first you might get creamed like 20 times, and then you'll notice one little detail, and you're like, oh. But then you're not mad, because it's like, that's kind of my fault for not picking up on that. And then when you do pick up on that little detail, you're like, oh, okay, this is working. And then you beat it and you're like, holy shit, like I did that. So yeah.
So Skylar, All Might Skylar and Sagebell, do you have examples of boss battles or characters that were just hilariously bad to the point of just not wanting to play the game? My example is 2 words, and it's just Cyber Akuma.
Of course,
Game
it'd be
that
a Street
didn't make
Fighter
me wanna-
character.
Cyber Akuma though.
I had a hard time with the Last Jedi, but I think it was actually because like I kept running into this glitch because the AI wasn't helping me when it
Oh, you talking about
Okay.
Fallen Order?
yeah, Fallen Order.
Okay.
I was stuck on this one Jedi fight with the guy with the two sabers. I can't remember his name, but that one I was actually stuck on for. I mean, I eventually beat him, but every time the lady would come in to stop him, he would just like charge through the animation and just hit me anyways.
Well, that game is the Dark Souls of Star Wars, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one was a little difficult, but other than that, no, not too much. I'm usually pretty decent at busting through a game.
Nice.
Sageville?
Well, it wasn't the game. I just didn't understand how a JRPG works, so I didn't set it up correctly to get into the boss battle.
Mm.
But I figured out it was like before I knew that you could like go back in a game and go to a previous save, change your characters, then go into the battle.
Mm-hmm.
So then I had a friend do it for me, but it was Magna Carta 2 on the
Ah,
360.
such a pretty game.
Seriously?
So beautiful.
I think that's like the second or third time you brought up that series, or one time I was trying to guess it and you knew what it was. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Magna Carta, like don't forget those games.
Word.
Why don't they make more of those?
Beautiful games. I
Don't
know.
know. I don't know what the
The
climate
art
is.
style to Magna Carta looks like what's the new famous free-to-play game right now that's on
It was-
every
it was-
platform?
It was really ahead of its time because that art style now is kind of not common,
Genshin
but you see it.
Impact.
But you
Yeah,
see
it does look like Engine Impact.
Oh,
You're
Yeah,
right.
it does.
Mhm.
Yep.
But before we continue to our big, juicy, moist topic, we have to make sure that everybody knows that we are a Salt.Tier Podcast. Soundcasting Network's very own video game podcast, brought to you by Voodoo Ranger IPA. Oh, look at that! Holy shit! The
Ooh, we
Voodoo
got-
Ranger's
we got
here.
graphics.
Hold on. What's up, buddy? You like that? That's awesome. Thank you, London. Man, London, what did you pass all your classes this semester?
Yeah.
She's
Nothing else to do.
flexing. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else to do. Selfies and yoga videos. But check them out. All their spring stuff is probably right around the corner, so stay tuned. Follow, like, subscribe. They do all sorts of fun stuff online, and yeah, they're great. Thank you, Lauren. Lauren's the one that supplies us all with our beer, and we're very, very thankful for it.
That we
Woo!
are.
Hashtag live dangerously. And remember, like, subscribe, share our damn podcast, and big thanks to the Soundcasting Network for having us. Scope out their other podcasts that are also freaking great. I just listened this evening to How to Be a Better Drinker, and just good content all around.
Any tips?
Any tips to be a better drinker? Oh,
Mhm.
hydrate, I guess, is the only advice I could give anybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's all. And now, drum roll, we're moving on to the big thing that happened this past week. We're talking about the PlayStation, the Sony State of Play.
Mm.
And, Saverings, ... Can I kick this to you to start?
I watched this and it was very underwhelming. To quote Robin from Young Justice, the cartoon, if you guys haven't watched that and you're a comic book fan or a DC fan, it's excellent. To quote Robin from that, he says, "Nobody's ever just whelmed. Everybody's underwhelmed or overwhelmed." I was very underwhelmed with this. There's some games in there. They showed, like, here we got Odd World. Flow was made by the people that made Hyper Life Drifter,
World.
Yeah, that
Which is-
flow looks awesome.
which was a game I talked about here. This one seems interesting. I called this one Daredevil Hallway Fight Scene, the game, because that's pretty much what it looks like.
Dodge.
This one's kind of interesting. It's a dodgeball game, and the other players can actually be the ball. You can actually throw your teammates at people. This is a
Nice.
Five Nights at Freddy game.
Hilarious.
Okay,
Come here.
cool. This was to say this is the Yuffie Final
We're gonna-
Fantasy thing.
I will talk about that longer in the future, but
This,
go ahead.
This doesn't count to me. I'm waiting for it to come out on the PC because it'll be on the PC one day, and I'll play it.
it
on there.
will, and it'll
Yep.
look even better.
Yes, and that rolls into another topic.
Yeah.
Well, basically, since there's no real games to talk about, that presentation was literally everything that they showed. And that's
Wow,
for the
wait,
yeah,
really?
yeah, and that was for the entire year.
Okay, so
As
do you
of
have
this
something
point.
to say specifically about Days Gone?
Well, Days Gone is the first game that their CEO, Sony CEO, came out and said in an interview with GQ magazine. Have you guys noticed Sony never drops bombs in Kotaku or CNET or GameSpot? It's always GQ or Esquire.
Magazine.
Yeah, Wired magazine, stuff like that.
Wow,
It's never,
how very sexist of them.
yeah, it's always in GQ or something like that. But in an interview with GQ, he said that they are going to be bringing more PC games. It's kind of a no-brainer, he said, after they looked at everything. It's their studios are in the best shape they've ever been in. It's super easy now to port games over. Wink, wink. You've heard me been saying this if you've been watching for the last whatever years. You've heard me been saying, or you heard me say that the biggest move in video games since I think forever has been them moving over to x86 architecture, which is exactly the same thing that's in, for now, your Macs. The Macs are all moving over to something else. But your Macs, your PCs, anything like that has the same chipset, the same instruction set in there. It's very easy just to move games back and forth. The Switch as well. It runs on its own chipset, but it's still x86 and it's x86 compatible. But basically, he said it's kind of a no-brainer. So they're going to start with Days Gone, but there's going to be plenty more PlayStation games coming to the PC. So far, we've already had Death Stranding. We've already had Horizon Zero Dawn. Already had Heavy Rain. Detroit Become Human. And there was another one that I'm leaving out.
And those are less than, what,
Watch
1
Dogs.
year turnarounds? 2 year?
And then also some games which were like, you couldn't pull them apart from PlayStation games, such as Journey. Games such as Flower. That was a PlayStation demo game that they used to show the 6-axis controller back on the PS3 days. That's on the PC now as well.
And
So-
Sam Park, I know you think no one games on a Mac, but people game on Macs, dude.
They
Sorry to
kind of do.
say.
Yeah,
They-
there's
People play League on Mac.
Yeah. There's enough compatible games, and the biggest games in the world, your Dotas, your League of Legends, your
They can run on a
Valorant.
potato.
Yeah, it runs on
Definitely
a
not
Mac.
Valorant.
Valorant doesn't run on a Mac.
Not Valorant.
I-
But yeah, the
That would be
MOBAs.
too heavy. I don't think Valorant would.
Okay.
It didn't run on my computer.
Yeah.
Too graphics card to go.
Statistically speaking, no one games on a Mac, but people do play on Macs from time to time.
Yeah, guilty.
So that's what's going on there. So, are there any games? I'd like to open this up to our audience, open this up to our the fellow podmates here. Are there any games on the PlayStation that are just on PlayStation now that you would like to see on a PC if that's what you game on from time to time?
Last of Us 2.
Spider.
Last of Us 2, no, they can keep that. Spider-Man is good. They can
Oh
keep
yeah,
that.
ask me my opinion and then say fuck you.
I didn't say fuck you. I just said they can keep that. I'd rather see like Gran Turismo or something first.
Heard.
But, like-
Well, before we open it up to the peanut gallery, I need to talk about Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation 5 because
eventually-
that was part of the state of play, and that's
And eventually
like
the PC.
eventually the PC. But yes, this is the thing I need to talk about. London with a Y is that this kind of got dropped to everybody a little by surprise. As a Final Fantasy fan, I was expecting an announcement for Volume 2,
Mm-hmm.
and then they announced this, and they're like, "Oh, if you have a PS5, you can port all your data and get this for free if you play the PlayStation 4 one, and you get this extended chapter, which follows a main character with the original game that we really weren't expecting until the next edition of this game, because even in the video game that was for PlayStation 1, she doesn't pop up until the next disc. Like, the first game that we got was basically disc 1. And then they dropped this, and everybody's kind of cool about it. I don't know if this is maybe them being sorry about the way they launched it. I thought most people were happy with
But
the
from
remake.
what I can tell, this is a side story. So
Totally.
you haven't encountered her yet. This is kind of showing what she was doing probably before you met her. And then when you meet her
Yes.
in the game, it'll pick up from there. And
It'll
whatever
pick up.
and like whatever stuff you get in this, she'll start off with that probably.
But I still wasn't expecting this. The gap of time between when they did this in Final Fantasy 15 was much greater. Like you didn't get those DLC character side stories for a while.
You know what though? This shows some good planning on their side because they knew that these remakes were going to take forever, and they were taking forever, and they knew there was going to be a big gap between disc 1 and disc 2. So they probably started working on this years ago, knowing that there was going to be a big gap in between the first, like the part 1 and part 2. So this is to tide people over and give them something to do. That'd be interesting if they did this with another character between 2 and 3 that would join you like on the last disc, and then you can like level up that character, get them stuff before you meet them on the last disc. Like I don't know who's the last person you get, like Vincent or something.
Yeah,
Like-
but he was already dropped. Spoilers, was already dropped at the end of this game of the
Okay.
Final Fantasy remake, so he already popped up.
Okay, so I don't know. So maybe some other character. Maybe they'll move some line stuff around, and then you can play the side quest of that character, and then they join you in the last one or something like that.
Word. Yeah, and to apologize to London, this topic was originally supposed to be the bulk of the State of Play conversation, but it got moved somehow, and that's fine. I wanted to talk about it before we moved on to hardware and then to our final topics, because, and I've said this, and Savings has been with me in this podcast for years now, and I keep bringing this up with consoles. Modular consoles are so appealing, and PlayStation is announcing and talking about internal storage upgrades.
This is what they promised before it came out, but there was literally no hard drives that would work in here. Like there was literally no replacement hard drive that you could buy that would work in there at the time. And then maybe like a month or two later there was, but there was like 3 of them, and they all cost like $500. And when the PlayStation 5 launched, they didn't unlock that feature in the firmware. So even if you went out and bought one of these things and plugged it in, it wouldn't recognize it and you couldn't use it. But as far as like a modular console, consoles are already close enough to PCs right now where they are suffering some of the same drawbacks as a PC. Like weird resolution stuff where before a console, you just plug it in and it worked. Updates and firmware, all this stuff that comes with it being on the same kind of platform as a PC. I think if you introduce modular hardware, it's just a PC at that point. You're going to have all the same problems with none of the benefits. No mods, no free online, no keyboard and mouse support for everything. All that kind of stuff. It's going to be a PC, but with none of the benefits.
I agree with that.
Yeah, none of the benefits.
Yep.
I'm going to be very, very cautiously optimistic. That said, I'm not buying the PlayStation 5. Like,
I
there's
mean, the
nothing.
benefit is that it's cheap.
Yeah, but nothing from Xbox or PlayStation has made me want to not just upgrade my $150 PC to make it play all the things I want to play. There are almost no exclusives that I need a PlayStation 5 for.
Yeah.
That I will just play my shooters and fighters until it comes on PC.
Yeah, and then we just saw the State of Play. There's nothing really coming out that anyway. So
Exactly.
you're not. So everybody who's like, oh, I couldn't get a PlayStation, should I drop $1,000 for? Should you? Like, because there's nothing really to play for a while. So just it's fine.
Yeah. Chime in on, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook if you're watching right now. Tell us what you think of the State of Play. If you think this modular storage buff is enough to make the PlayStation cool, I don't think it was enough. But we are moving on.
I know.
Moving on.
You know what? I thought, true facts before the show, I thought the topics we had would be enough to carry us for an hour. I thought we'd blabber for an hour and fill it all up.
Oh no, we could blabber much longer, but
I was wrong.
London's being a hard ass right now, so we're going to keep pushing, which is a good thing, because then we can make our closing statements nice and lengthy. So we're moving on to Captain Thumbs Up over there.
I even have to pull this up because I wasn't expecting we hit this link.
Oh shit! I mean, not to show you how the sausage is made, but this was definitely not the topic I dropped, so I know little to nothing about this.
Well, it's okay. We could pass through this one, but this is just our dump on Fallout because we haven't talked shit about Fallout and Bethesda in a long time.
I just installed it today.
Yeah,
And,
Cyberman dumped on Blizzard and praised Bethesda. So what do you think about that? What do you think about Cyberman's mindset?
And also, I'm looking at Sage Bell, and I ask her this every time: is that a Pip-Boy Fallout jacket you're wearing? And I know it's not, but I have to ask her though.
No, it's an Overwatch.
Yep, I always ask her though. I have to ask you, Sage Bell. Every time you wear that, I have to ask you.
I need to get a different character so I don't look.
You don't like Pip-Boy? You don't like Pip-Boy down there?
I've never played Fallout.
Look at that face.
We're gonna have to fix that because those games are free basically now.
London, you
They
saw it
pretty much
here.
are. I got so many on Steam the other day.
Yeah, you can end up owning all of them on accident. Like they just give them away now. Yep.
I didn't know how I did. I just logged in one day and I had all of the Fallout games.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Some are excellent and classic bangers of all time, and it's the reason why people still talk about Fallout now. And some are just yikes. But anyway, So Microsoft is closing in on the final days of this deal. We announced this a while ago. Well, not announced it, but we reported on this, how Microsoft was buying not just Bethesda, but ZeniMax, their parent company, which owns a bunch of other crap. Microsoft bought all of it. The deal got finalized in most places. It's still passing through the final regulations over in the European Union because they have their own stuff and it takes them their own time to do it, which is fine. It is what it is. But in the meantime, I guess ZeniMax and Bethesda were being sued for some other stuff, which is not uncommon. These big corporations are being sued all the time, someplace for something. So people were kind of reporting on this, like, Microsoft just bit off more than they can chew. Microsoft just paid cash for this thing. I don't think they care. But that's the thing that happened. So
Drop the conspicuous briefcase.
Yep.
Boom. We'll take the whole lot.
Yep. I'm assuming that when they bought them, they were like, oh, and by the way, like, we're being sued right now. I mean, I don't know if that's relevant. If you really care, we're being sued right now. Microsoft's like, whatever. We're being sued like 10 times right now. So whatever. So like nothing really of that story. No real news report, but I had to keep consistent with us dumping on the Fallout and on the Bethesda tip.
I mean, I do still love Bethesda in my heart of hearts, but they're just so atrocious lately.
Yeah, so I just had to throw it out there because it's been a while since we shat on them. So there you go.
Game of the year, right?
Yeah, shout out to Bethesda. Not a shout out, a shout out.
Game of the year is Valheim, baby.
Game of the year, Fallout 76, baby. Game of the year for the next 5 years.
Valheim might very well be the game of the year while you're bullshitting.
Probably.
I know, dude.
Phasmo jumped pretty far up right at the end of the last year.
Mm-hmm. Someplace, somewhere, it will win a game of the year because there's a billion game of the year awards now, so I'm sure it'll win like 50 of them someplace.
Yeah, game of the Salt.Tier's game of the year. We'll send them a tinfoil trophy.
So Bobby Stills, you got that? Yes. This is something we've talked about here on the show. This is also local here to Seattle. This is the little game.
They're local.
Yes, it's
That's
made by
why
one.
I know so much about them.
It's made by one. It's made by one dude. He lives in Kent, I believe.
Wow.
And he made this whole game on his own over the course of a couple of years. And of course, it released, and we all know it. Even if you've never played it or you're not even into this genre of games, you read an article, you come across, you've met somebody who's played it. Excellent game. I would highly suggest it, especially multiplayer. Multiplayer is crazy. I had a really good time playing that. But there's a board game coming out because, of course, there is. And I'm very tempted to pick this up. There's also a Dark Souls game since we were talking about that earlier. So I might pick up both of those and see what those are about. But yeah, if you're interested, you play board games, you play Stardew Valley, you like farm games, you like RPGs, any of that stuff, anything we talk about, might be worth a look, especially if you're into board games, definitely.
And it's standard board game price, about $50, I think.
Yeah, this was not exorbitantly expensive like some of the custom games are. Yeah, those are the characters from the game. These are the things that you can catch and grow. This looks pretty much like the map with the town and everything. I have no idea how all this shit works.
Holy crap. There's so much going on.
There's a lot going on. But there's a lot going on in the game, too, but in a good way.
Is that April O'Neil?
No, that's April. She's one of the townsfolk.
Wait, her name is April, though?
Yeah, her name's April, yeah.
Counterfeit.
She's a school teacher. She's a school teacher. Yeah,
does she teach a school of Ninja Turtles?
I mean, maybe, but it was made by a dude. It was made by one dude, so maybe he did throw that in there as a little shout out to her. But yeah,
probable.
Mm-hmm.
She moves to the big city after this. Looks like we're going into our Pokemon announcement. So
Nintendo, we're getting a soft nudge into Pokemon.
Yeah, if you want to just drive this, Bobby Stills, just go ahead. Just fire up the stuff. Don't wait for us.
Nintendo announced a couple things this week as well. So like what Nintendo and PlayStation both had their big announcement week. And I believe this one is the trailer for the open world game, which is huge because none of the Nintendo games are open world, correct?
Besides Breath of the Wild.
Pokemon open world game.
I meant Pokemon games.
Oh, Pokemon games? No, they're not truly open world. They're open world, but they're not truly because you got to load into different sections and stuff. Yeah.
So Breath of the Wild, you would say, I know it's not Pokemon, but it would be the first. And then this is probably like their second for at least the Switch.
All I have is one question, Sage Bell. I don't know if you know this or if they've even said it or not. Can you collect all the Pokemon in this game? Because that's where I dropped off.
Ooh, in this one?
Yes, because this one you should be able to. You could creep on them.
Do you get to boop the snoot? Doubt it.
Maybe.
Possible. Ooh.
This looks kind of cool, actually.
That looks really cool.
I'm so curious if I would play a really good Pokemon game again.
What's the last one you played? Oh, Cyndaquil. I can pick Cyndaquil. Ah! Okay, they sold me. You can pick Cyndaquil.
Wait,
like,
these
Cyndaquil,
starters are so
I think the
random.
last
They're
one
different
I
gens.
played was when you got to pick Cyndaquil, actually.
Yeah, the last one's like that was what, silver and gold, right? Oh no, that was
so.
platinum.
The only
There's
one I've
something
played
like
is the one with the owl, actually. The
Okay.
Rowlet.
Wow, I keep forgetting like how old this franchise is.
Yeah, the last one I really got into was platinum and gold, and I love.
What's wrong with
platinum.
Mewtwo?
Nothing.
Oh, that's not
That
Mewtwo.
was Mewtwo range.
Yeah, that's
Four-legged Mewtwo.
So it's called Pokemon Legends.
Arceus.
Yes. I almost said Articus.
Okay. All I want to know is, can you catch all of them? Because the last one I almost bought. I own the Switch. I pretty much buy everything on the Switch because I love my Switch, even though I used to talk shit on it. But I didn't buy the Pokemon on this because you can't get all the Pokemon.
There's also like 3 Pokemon games for it already.
Yeah, so it's just like, but if this one you can catch all the Pokemon, I'm there. But I saw you could pick Cyndaquil at the beginning. As long as I get Cyndaquil and Lugia, those are my 2 favorite ones. As long as I can get them in some form, I might pick that up.
Maybe
They
they-
additionally announced on Pokemon that they're going to be remaking for the Switch Pokemon Diamond and Pearl.
Those are the ones I checked out on. Honestly, true story. At my first software job where I was making some good money, there was a Fred Meyer across the street, and we got paid, and that's the most money I ever got in any paycheck ever. So I'm like, you know what? Before that I was broke. I was a broke boy. And before that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go buy me a DS. I'm gonna just walk across the street, throw some cash on the fucking table, and buy me a DS. So I bought a DS and I bought Pokemon, and about whatever Pokemon that was, Diamond and Pearl, I think. And that game was just too much game. I ended up just returning it. Like, this is too much game for something to live only on your little screen that you couldn't show anyone. Because like, I'll play a game that you could show off. Like, I could play it online. Like, look what I did. But like on my little tiny screen, oh, look what I did. Like, it was too much game, and that's when I stopped playing it. I was just like, this is just too much game to play on a little tiny screen and to only live on a little tiny screen. But with the Switch, I'm okay because it's got online, and you can show off online, and it's worth something. So I'm very excited for this game if that's what it turns out to be.
The Diamond and Pearl?
Mm-hmm.
You're actually excited for them.
Like I meant, like, maybe my tastes have changed. Maybe I want to go back and try these again. I saw the underground section in the trailer right there too. So that's where I got turned off, because I'm like, this underground part is infinite in and of itself. Like, I could get lost in here, and no.
and our homie, to completely sidebar for 20 seconds, our homie Sam Park in the chat is talking about how we're not talking about MTG and the crossovers and a bunch of other games. And my dude, what a completely different topic that's going to have to be later, because there's like Warhammer 40K, Lord of the Rings, and we'll get to that. And we understand that their fan bases are tenacious, and we know.
Cheng, I see you. Gengar for the win. He's also on my permanent team. So good shout out on there.
And when we're talking about Gengar, that leads us to, I believe, oh, cute. Talking about Gengar, that leads us to our closing statements. And whilst I know, but we got some time, we got time to drop our socials, talk about how Pokemon has affected your life, and if at all. And then, drop your socials, and then we'll see everybody next week. But I will start because I'm not that versed in Pokemon, and I have almost no history with them. However, I am a gigantic Smash Brothers fan. And when Project M, and I guess to a lesser degree when Smash Brothers Brawl came out, and you had access to all of these other Pokemon, I kind of almost wanted just a Pokemon game that was Smash Brothers, but there were 20 Pokemon. No Links, no Marios, just nothing but the Pokemon world. And so as far as how the Pokemon has affected me, that's kind of it. With the mainstay games, I'm happy for the fandom. I don't dislike the games, but I also haven't dumped a bunch of hours into it because I don't play mobile games. that's all for me. And then I don't know who wants to take it from there. And I know we have a sidebar going on right now with the podcast, but
all right, I'm nerding out, and I'm talking Pokemon with Chang in the chat here.
I know. Should it matter to anybody, I am Loud and Brown at Instagram and Twitter. I am Grosstef with a PH on Steam and PlayStation.
Ooh.
And then
Nice.
I guess I'll kick it off to the saverings. ...
I'll make it brief. Hi, everybody. Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Good to see and be seen. Find me on Steam, even though I'm probably just goofing around on there. Hit us up on the Steam group. I sent out both of the, I linked all of our podcasts and everything there. If you want to go back and rewatch them, if you want to go on to Steam and find something to play with us, we have all the games that we play on Steam and on consoles that are on Steam listed on there. So if you want to play with any of us, just hit us up on there. I'll let everyone know. Everybody, be cool, be safe. Pay attention to stonks because there's some money to be made. If you got a little extra bread to invest, definitely do. But do your homework. And we'll see you next week. I'll kick it down to the handsome one.
Oh, thank you. This has been All Might Skylar. You can find me on Instagram at Skylar's Back at It. As far as Pokemon, I've been playing that game ever since I was a kid. That was like, I remember, playing that game in the car, and you can only see it when the street lights were passing by.
Oh yeah, because it wasn't backlit.
Yeah, there's no backlit. I played.
Oh shoot, that's right.
Yeah, though, like the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color weren't backlit.
Yep.
Yeah, but neither was the original DS backlit.
Yes.
Oh.
Everything past the Advance. The Advance was backlit. Everything the Advance and up was backlit, but not the first Advance though. It wasn't until like the SP was backlit.
Yeah, Advanced my ass. I still have to play that with only the streetlights.
Yep.
But whatever. I've been playing that game for a long time. I really always enjoyed Pokemon. I actually used to play the card game a long time ago when I was a kid. And I don't know. That's why I'm like interested if I would actually play a good open world Pokemon game, because I think I might. I guess it depends on the price.
Fun fact, Skylar, this Pikachu doll, this is from when Pokemon first came out in North America, and I worked at EB Games, and I bought this when I worked there. So this Pikachu was like whenever Pokemon came out, 26, 27 years ago. This is from the very first wave.
25.
Yeah, this is from the very first wave.
Oh wow,
this is like one of the first Pikachu dolls right here ever.
Crazy.
Yep.
I made the foolish mistake of giving my cards to my cousin.
Oof.
I know, painful.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. But anyways, if you want to find me in VALHEIM, but come hit me up. I still play Pokemon Go. There is still a lot of people who play Pokemon Go.
That's true. I see it every now and then.
There were so many people that picked that game up. I mean, statistically, there's still tens of millions of people that play it.
had somebody at work. They were like, "Hey, Skylar, do you know why Pokemon cards are so like on the rage right now?" And I was like, "No idea." And it's like I have coworkers who kids like they want Pokemon cards, and they're not even doing anything with them. They're just legitimately collecting them. And like I go to Fred Meyer's and stuff like that. Go to the grocery store. They have the Pokemon vending machines, and they're always sold out. And I'll ask the attendants. I'm like, "Do they actually stock that thing?" And he goes, "Yes, they just sell out instantly." And I was like, "That's insane." Like, why is collecting Pokemon cards like a thing with kids right now? I think
it just hits so hard. Even the residue after 3/4 of the people left, that quarter of the people that remained is still a lot of people.
Wait. Are you talking about base Pokemon?
Oh, we're talking about Pokemon Go, and Bobby Stills popped up.
No. It's not even that Pokemon Go that I'm talking about. It's about the collecting of Pokemon cards. I watch a lot of the unboxings online and stuff like that.
Yeah, people are going nuts about those.
But the thing about Pokemon is it's just like collecting baseball cards, which I was a huge baseball card collector when I was younger. It's not even playing the actual card game. But also it has to do with
there's an actual card game to baseball cards?
No, to
Pokemon. I was like, what?
No, that's what I'm saying is that people collected baseball cards when they were kids, but not just that, is that you have to think about the generation before that when Pokemon first came out and hit the States. That was their nostalgic collecting type of thing that they're able to share with their kids. And so they had Pokemon cards around them when they were growing up. And so it's still a thing, especially with Pokemon Go, bringing it back around that now. And Pokemon always keeps it fresh. They just released these giant big cards and they're only dropping them. It's just like sneaker culture, right?
Yeah, that's smart. That's how you build. That's how you build hype.
Exclusive drops that they're doing that are only it's a limited release, and so it's something you can go to school about or talk online with your friends of going, you know, I have this, you don't have that.
Yeah, and as a father, like it never went anywhere. It never went anywhere.
Exactly.
Kids just like, oh, Pokemon, and then they watch all the cartoons, they know all the characters, they play the games, so it never went anywhere. So when
it's got that appeal, right?
Yes. So if you're wondering like why it didn't go nowhere, it just same thing. Yep. Like because my kids are all into it and they know it. It's not even their main thing, and they know all about it. So yeah.
Well, heck. Well, did you already drop your socials, Skylar?
Yep. You can find me on Instagram, Skylar's Back at It. You can find me on Steam at All Might Space Skylar. If you want to play some Valheim with me and. Or some League of Legends, Runeterra. If you play some Runeterra, I love playing people like in Runeterra. If anybody wants to 1v1 me.
Whoa, PvPs.
They want to take this level 2 gold. Come catch these hands.
Yeah, I know. Well, and then closing out this wonderful podcast is the priceless and the radiant Sage Bell.
Hi, something Pokemon. I really like the praying mantis Pokemon, which is there's two.
Scyther.
So Scyther is the first one, and I think he looks stupid. But I do have a shiny Scyther that evolved into Caesar, so he's green when he's shiny in his Caesar evolution.
Okay.
But then they made a Orchid Mantis, which is in Sun and Moon, and that is Fomantis, and it evolves into Lurantis, which is Bacon Legs.
Okay.
Bacon Legs?
Because when it evolves, it looks like a praying mantis in a kimono with like stripy legs, and so it looks like it's got little bacon strips for legs.
Oh my god, Bacon Legs!
I just want to catch my starting 5 that I had back in silver in the new one. Like that's all I want to do. As long as I can catch the starting 5, which was Gengar, Lugia, Esperion, Typhlosion, and Sudowoodo. And then I always had like a 6 like floating one.
I believe I'd do Talonflame, Lurantis, because Lurantis is OP as shit. I really like Mimikyu. Mimikyu's really good child. I also worked really hard to get Mimikyu and Lapras because they're like really hard to find in Sun and Moon. So I farmed for those bitches.
I'll wreck you, Sage Bell. Me and you out there. Let's do this.
And then I like grass types and I like fire types.
Well, my main guy is a fire type, so yeah, your grass types are in trouble.
Yeah,
Whoa,
I
fighting
love Bulbasaur.
But
Here comes that.
Bulbasaur's the best.
how are our beautiful and not trolly viewers and listeners going to follow and find you, Sage Bell?
They can stick around while I mess around with a new game on this stream. I'm going to be playing Call of the Sea. It is available on Xbox Game Pass, so if you have Game Pass, it's free. And otherwise, you can find me at Sage Bell. I think I'm streaming this Wednesday, not on Thursday. This Wednesday, solo streaming.
Curveball.
Around 6 or 7, depends on my mood. So check out at Sage Bell. I have a Notify Twitter, and then you can also just follow me on Twitch and turn your notifications on.
Well, heck, Maniacs, that was a pretty rounded episode 113. We talked about like 10 things tonight.
We did.
Instead of rambling about 4 things.
Yeah,
London really kicked us in our butts.
Good stuff.
But we got to talk about a lot of stuff, and I got to troll some of the friends on Facebook, and that's always a gas, right? I want to thank everybody for joining us. Please tell your friends. This is so much fun. Once again, you will get free games. We will get those Steam codes out to you. You just have to engage. Don't be those creeps that like view and don't ever comment.
Yeah, I've only gotten through about three of the 6 pages of games we have, and it's like 50 or 60 games. So yeah,
We'll do it. We'll
Come
give them
through.
out. We'll set up a whole event. We'll do like a big end of COVID celebration party. We'll just like start handing out codes to people. It'll be freaking great. Just DMing you. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. That is Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. That's what we're streaming on. To get content, we are on Instagram and Twitter at Salt_Tier Pod. Please drink Voodoo Ranger. Hashtag live rangerously.
I drank mine. I drank mine.
Yeah, right. Remember to invest in stocks and specifically Pokemon Company stocks. Those are up for grabs, man. That could be a thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's always going up. It's Pokemon. It's not going nowhere.
Pokemons.
Yeah.
And I want to thank the Soundcasting Network for hosting us. Good gracious. And London with a Y working on overtime. It's been freaking swell. Thank you, All Might Scholar, for popping in. Remember to play VALHEIM. VALHEIM. And this has been a production of the Soundcasting Network.
All right.
Oh, this is that game that looked like Sea of Thieves.
Did it? Oh my god. Okay, 1 second. I thought it was just gonna go straight in the game.
So I'm gonna stop our stream from Facebook. Remove that.
Where's my? There.
All right, y'all. I got to take off in case did anybody need me or anything.
And then,
Nope.
and then I'm gonna remove the stream from. Should I keep streaming on Instagram? I mean,
YouTube?
I mean, we're
YouTube?
giving away trade secrets.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it should probably be just Twitch.
Yeah.